right, we're gonna head into the Canaan Farmers Hall. A little step up, Nate. All right, and this is the dining area. And I think all of our folks are upstairs that we're going to interview. But this is, I'm going to take this off for a second. But this is the Canaan Farmers Hall. It used to be a grange, and we're going to interview a couple people who are on the board of the Farmers Hall. But what's an amazing thing about this place is it's one of the only fully handicap accessible granges in all of Somerset and Kennebec counties. So they have a working elevator, they have a ramp for folks, they have accessible bathrooms. So it's a really awesome place, and they have events and all kinds of things, plus you can rent the hall. So we're gonna actually see the structure, and we're gonna interview 2 of the board members. So we'll do that. By the way, I've been in plays here, Nate. Hall with Scott Price, who is on the board of the Canaan Farmers Hall. He's going to tell us a little bit about the history, so I guess the first question is, like, when was this place built? And also you can talk about where we are.
Yes, about 2010, 2011, the local Grange chapter folded in Canaan, and the hall reverted to the Maine state Grange and kind of took ownership, and it just sat for a while, and then some of us, I'm a long-time resident, but some folks that have lived here their whole lives have lots of good memories for this hall, so they thought that they could possibly save it from just selling off on the market because of the hall's wonderful history in the town, of course. So, along Bill Townsend and Kathy Peralta and myself and a few others got together and formed a non-profit organization with the hope of having like a community center used for the hall and stuff. So we got a non-profit organization formed, and in 2012 it became official, and we started with the name Canaan Farmers Hall, to a nod to the farming history of the local culture, but obviously we couldn't use the Grange name, and it's not a Grange-connected association anymore. It's just like a community organization for the town and the surrounding areas, and that's what we got so far. And so it's been going since 2012, our first time. It's 2020 now, so it's been going on for a while. And Kathy and I have always been on the board, and other members come and go, and it's a volunteer organization as a nonprofit, open to everyone can help us out.
Yeah. And what year was the structure built?
So the structure, from my memory picking up, was built in 1898, and the purpose was a Grange Hall, because Grange was big back then in the farming community. And it was actually built, from my understanding, across the creek in Canaan. Wow. And in, I think, the 20s or something, during the Conservation Corps days, it was moved over here, because this was more of a main drag here in town, and it was just more of a community-centered building at that time, and it was moved. And it's on the same granite pieces on the foundation. Been here ever since, and it's held up pretty well. They put a nice metal roof on and cover the roof. That's kept it very well. And you'll see pictures of the hall ceilings, the original ceiling, and the floors are original floors. It's amazing how well it's been kept. And part of the organization has been to renovate it enough for modern use. We put in modern handicap bathrooms and handicap access ramp, and then a lot of fire safety stuff. Trying to keep the old as much as we can, but wood's pretty rugged for fire safety stuff, so we've added a fire safe exit, a second exit in this room upstairs. So with help from the fire marshal, we've been able to keep a lot of the original features of the hall, and yet put in fire safe stuff. So we're pretty happy with that, and staying ahead of the fundraising, which is always tough with nonprofit organizations. But there's a lot of support in the town, and we really appreciate, and the local businesses, and we draw a lot from the Skowhegan area too, so there's a lot of folks in the Skowhegan area that join us for programming and stuff.
Cool. So I know it's different right now, but in normal times, what are some of the programs and special things that you do here?
Yes, over the course of 8 years or so, we've had a variety of things, trying different things, different fundraising is a big focus. And then a hall like this, we have had a couple performances. Studios have borrowed the hall for stage performances, and we've also had a number of contra dances, because the floor is really wonderful and the acoustics are very exceptional for a contra dance. So it just takes 2 instruments up here and it fills the hall very well. It's really easy for that. And then we've had different kids' activities over the years. We still have a few public suppers, and we have in-house plays for fundraiser things like dinner mystery theaters. Can you think of anything else off the top of your head?
Well, we have art. We have an art exhibit several times. One is called 100 for 100, where we have 100 works of art from local people, and then we can how do we do raffles? We do a raffle. Yeah.
Yes, we have a lot of art activities, art shows, and things, because it's a wonderful space to show that. And as you get farther away from the cities, some of the venues are a little less. So we've good success with that. Kathy Peralta is local artist and president on the board right now, and she's helped do a lot of that.
I wondered, do you guys have in mind like an ultimate fundraising goal, or also the goals that you have around the use of the hall? Do you know what I mean? Like, I know, so for example, because I do know the history of the hall a little bit, I do know that the town meetings and even voting have been in different locations, but that perhaps being here might be something that would be.
That's a very good observation, because yes, the hall is not quite winterized. Like this here has no insulation, so it doesn't hold heat very well. So we end our activities the 1st of November and pick up kind of the middle of April. And the town meetings in March, and one of our goals is to insulate downstairs enough, so the room downstairs will be good enough for a town meeting. It's big enough for a town meeting. The town meeting's probably 60, 70 people at a time. And that's kind of a goal, because the town meetings used to be up here in the old days. So more other community functions is an ultimate goal. And we have a few small renovation, like we want to renovate the kitchen a little bit to make that easier when we have dinners, and volunteers helping out for that. So those types of kind of long-term, but nothing, just a community gathering place.
If someone wanted to donate to you, is there a place they could do that? Like, what's the...
Yes, very good question. We have a website for the Canaan Farmers Hall. It's Canaan, Maine, CanaanMaine.com, and it's pretty good for our size organization, and there's donate buttons there. The question you had about what was your other question?
Rentals?
Oh, rentals, yes. The hall is available for rentals. We try to keep it in good shape, and we've had numerous wedding events. We have memorial funeral events, and birthday events. So it's definitely rental available, and that information is on the website. It's very simple. You just can print out the form and mail it in, or get a phone call, and we can make sure the dates are open. And also on the website is one of the tabs is a community calendar, and we try to keep that up to date so you know when the hall is being used and when it's open. So if you're interested in certain dates, it's always available online. You can look that up. So rental, you can rent one floor, you can rent both floors. The ground floor is the dining and kitchen area. This is just the entertainment hall. We've read both places.
Yeah.
And again, only rental like from April through October.
Yeah.
And of course, the in-house events kind of have priority, fundraising events. But there's lots of other opportunities for rental. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah. I just know from experience that it's pretty affordable, and it's a beautiful space, and it's accessible, which is such a rare. Again, it's just rare for a Grange Hall to be accessible.
Yes, the downstairs, and I should say this is accessible too, because one of the first large projects we did was put in an elevator, or just a lift for 2 people at a time, and that has opened up the upstairs to a whole lot of folks. And so, and we got the entrance ramp just this last 2 years. That totally accessible. We had one step left, and we got that flattened out, so the hall is totally accessible.
Yeah,
it's a rare feature.
I think that's a really cool thing, and I know that it took a lot of work to get an elevator into an older building.
Yep. Again, our focus was to try to make it unobtrusive, not so obvious. So I think we did a pretty good job. One of the antique features of the hall is this building was built before central heating, so there was a stove in this room, stove in the vestibule there, and of course stoves downstairs. And for the heat flow around, they put in holes in the floor, and the heat was able to rise up with this nice circular grate. And so we obviously couldn't take that out, but when you have events downstairs, we cover the holes so the heat stays downstairs.
So we are here actually with my mom, Sandra Sanborn, and she's a member of the Canaan Farmers Hall, so she's going to tell us just a little bit about Grange history, so what the Grange Halls were, and how they started.
So the Grange, curiously enough, came out of a political issue for farmers. Right after the Civil War, there was Reconstruction. And during that, a lot of things were changing. Railroads were forming, and apparently the railroads started shipping things. So all of a sudden, farmers were finding themselves cut off. And so what they did was they formed this community in order to lobby and do what you do to try to change laws. And it became buildings all over the place, and there's many Grange Halls, many in Maine that look pretty much like this one. And so, well, that was the beginning, and then the Grange became the community center where everyone would have suppers. They still have suppers. There's still Grange Halls that are going, like up in Blue Hill, and I think there's one in Fairfield. But this one had to do another thing, because the members were older and petered out.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. I wonder if we know how many Grange Halls there actually happen to be in Maine?
I think there's
like
30 something. There's something like 20, 30 Grange Halls, and that's just when I looked a long time ago. So I'm not sure. And well, for example, one of the ones that got decommissioned and repurposed was Now the Bee Collective in Holton, they took their Grange and turned it into an art collective or something. I've never been there. So then Blue Hill continue to have the Grange Hall, continue to do it in the old Grange ways. But it depends on the community.
Right, and probably the age of the residents.
Right.
We also are going to be talking to an artist, David Ellis, who happened to have bought a Grange Hall.
Nice, yes.
He bought the Mercer Grange and now has turned it into a pottery classroom studio space that's gorgeous. And we'll be talking to him for our artist segment about Canaan. And that's another beautiful, beautiful Grange.
And the Madison Grange, up where my daughter Phoebe lives, they kind of started up again. And they're trying to get new members, and some of the new members are younger and wanting to do music, because music is perfect for spaces like this.
Yeah, and this space, I can't remember whether it was David Calder or who had said it, where he said it was like the best place to play music was this particular Grange Hall because of the acoustics.
Now, I mean, I'm very eclectic in how I do things. I do many different things. But my passion now is fiber. So what I've been doing is spinning, crocheting, knitting, sometimes making little pieces that come out of those bits and pieces that I've made. But often they're utilitarian, because I've found that utilitarian works for me. And this spinning wheel I got probably, I'm saying 10, 15 years ago, but I have no idea now. It's a Polish company called Kromski, and this is a Kromski minstrel, which is a castle type of wheel. There are castle wheels, there are Saxony, which is the style that you see most often, and other varieties. So what I was going to do is just basically show you how to spin, and then if you're interested in spinning, there's the Maine Spinners Registry. There are groups on Facebook, and that's what you would do. So,
and what year is this from, this wheel?
This wheel is a modern wheel. It's a modern wheel copied after older ones. It's, you know, you don't really need all this stuff. And some spinning wheels you can get will be quite modern looking. So I've got it kind of hooked up and ready to go. The first thing you need is fiber in order to spin. And in my bag, I have lots of different fibers. Let's see if I can find the one that's here.
Do you have a favorite fiber you like to work with?
I don't, though. I started with Angora because I have Angora rabbits, and that's why I learned to spin, because I had to do something with the fiber. This is a Polworth mix kind of wool that I got in Maine from people. These people live in, it's called Highland Handmade somewhere. Anyway.
So is there a kind of fiber that is easier to work with if you're just starting out than others?
If you're just starting out, probably you want to get something like Coopworth or wool, sheep wool. Start with sheep wool. And this is easy because it's already combed. If you wanted to do sheep from a sheep from a sheep, you would start out with stuff like this. And that is, what is it? Cotswold wool. So these locks would have to be all combed and ready to go. But you can, handy dandy, get somebody who's already made it into a big, nice, long, what do we call these things again? I forgot, but anyway. Doesn't matter. My brain is not what it used to be. Roving, there you go.
And my other question, I guess, is this seems like a lot of work if you can just buy yarn that's pre-spun. So tell me, is there a benefit to spinning your own, or is it a part of the artwork? It's part of, if you could make your own.
Yes, there's very little difference between art and craft when you think about it. Because what you're doing is taking something that you could buy at Walmart, instead making it yourself and once you make it yourself, it has meaning to your heart, you know? Anyway, so here we go. We get the roving, and we kind of shake it out and smooth it out so it's ready to spin, make it a little bit more attenuated, I guess is the word. And then you give it a little try here, and there you go. I kind of spin, I think, opposite to what other people are when they're right-handed, but it doesn't seem to matter.
Okay, so also I know from having tried this that it looks really easy, right? But it's not.
I was just thinking that.
Yes.
I'm like, there is no way.
The old bicycle thing.
Yeah,
The old bicycle.
yeah. You have to like keep a certain tension, right, Mom? And you have to.
Yeah. What you're doing is your hand and your eye and your feet are all working together, just like when you're on a bicycle or you learn to drive a car. When you first learn to drive a car, it's like, oh, okay, I have to turn it on, then I have to step here. No, wait a minute. I have to remember to look out back when I'm, you know. So this, once you learn how to do it, you've got the basics, right?
What I'm immediately gripped with is I want to put a little yoga mat down there and a pillow, and I'm like, I could just meditate to the sound of the clicking, and then also just the vision of the feet going up and down like little bunny rabbits.
Yeah.
It's just
the feet are doing a very constant over and over thing, and the hands are doing the same thing over and over again. And you could make it thicker by allowing more to go through your fingers. That's a little harder because I have a set way of doing things. Or you can make it thin, really thin. Wow. Then as you move along, you move the yarn over, you know, as it fills up, moving it along the hooks. What else to say about this? Once you get it done, you'll end up with a spool that looks like this. Now, that in itself is fine. You could use it. That's a single ply. If you wanted to use it as single ply, it would be fine. Most often, I make double ply, and there are triple plies and so forth. But my level is, okay, I can do double ply. Okay. So once you get this one filled and you get another one filled, say this was filled up, then you take the two of those and you put it back onto the wheel and spin it the opposite way. And what that makes is a skein that looks like has two plies in it. See if I can show the camera the two plies. So now it's two pieces. Two yarns have been spun together to make two ply, and then this will create the ball of wool that you're going to now turn into something. So a ball of wool. I have to put all of this here someplace.
You come prepared.
I did, except it's hard to get to. Let's see if I can find it. There seems to be one. There it is. Okay, so there we go. We've made it into a ball with this thing over here. Wow. We had this is a niddy noddy, funny name, but a great tool.
Oh wow!
So all of this has been put onto this thing, and then from spinning it off here, there's too many parts to explain. And then you have your ball of wool, and then you make things. So I wanted to just point this little bit out, because this is another fun thing. There's so many ways to go with this. There's your own personal way. There are people that you connect to. There are many different sheep breeds. And one of the things that interests me are livestock breeds from long ago. And consequently, incidentally, there's also people around that are interested in that, so they've collected information about people who then breed these animals. And it's called the Livestock Conservancy. And on that website, they started a whole thing where people who are knitters and spinners would buy wool from the different breeds, and they called it shave 'em to save 'em. So you would pick out somebody in Maine. There's probably 20 so different people that have these different sheep breeds, and they will send you this stuff, which is where I got that, right, from this woman in in Western Maine. And so I made this wool.
I'm saying in Leamington.
What?
Leamington, maybe.
Leamington, okay. See, I don't know that word.
I used to live in Western Maine.
Okay.
Right near Leamington.
I'll know that from now on. So I made that wool, this Cotswold, and I made it into these little crocheted, they're actually for, what is it, a coaster. They're a bunch of coasters, because I didn't have much of it. So that's all made from that wool from that woman. And it goes on and on. There just is no end to, you want to do fiber, and there's a world out there of sheep, of people who spin, people who knit, people who weave. And in fact, when you were out at Stu's, his partner Nancy has a studio for weaving.
Well, we'll also see Heather Kerner's work, and she's a felter.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, felting, another one. Yeah. Yeah, and then you get into color, like you can make things like this yourself, and these people are in Maine, and they chose to do dyeing. That was their fascination with fiber. So it's just, and then you get into the types of fiber. There's different wool. Like I was saying, Coopworth and Merino, those are common first wools that people spin. And there's different breeds, and each one of those sheep is for a different feel to the fiber, a different use of the fiber. Like you can use merino to make things by your skin and it's not itchy, or you can get heavy-duty sheep that have heavy coats and coarse fiber, and you make rugs. So,
it's cool.
What else?
Do you want to show us some of the things you've created? Also,
okay.
Do you have any of your tatted stuff or no?
Not
I didn't think about that.
I didn't think. Okay, so I told you that in the beginning I started spinning because I had rabbits. And the rabbits were Angora rabbits. And I learned to take the fiber off, and this is all Angora wool right here, this soft, fluffy stuff. It's so soft. It's beautiful, it's warm. Very warm. If you were to make mittens that were all out of Angora, your hands would sweat in the winter. And I also would take the wool from the rabbits and weigh it and put it in bags and put their names on it. And this particular rabbit, her name was Victoria, and this was 2011, June, and there were 2 ounces of wool in this bag. She made more, I don't know. But Victoria is no longer with us because that was a while ago, for a rabbit.
You should say, I think some people don't realize, they don't realize you don't kill the rabbit for the fur.
No, the rabbit, this is like shed wool. And during a year, a rabbit may be shedding 2-3 times, and the wool starts to come out. If they ingest it when they're cleaning themselves, they could die, because it doesn't digest in their stomach. So it's important to take that wool off, and you can do it just by pulling it for most rabbits, and then some rabbits you have to shear it because their wool doesn't release very well. And in Maine, we often have, most of the rabbits I know about are like a cross between German and French, and their wool doesn't come out very easy, so they shear that. And they hold a huge coat of wool, sometimes a pound a year. These rabbits, this is a satin Angora, her wool, probably you would get maybe 3/4 of a pound, maybe not, maybe less, from an individual rabbit. in a year. In a year.
Do you remember, when did you first get the rabbits? What, it was a while ago, right?
In the 90s.
90s.
This would be the 90s. Yeah. Joan, somebody had one. Joan maybe, or a friend of Joan's. And then I had them, and then as I had them year by year, I've had them since that time, pretty constantly. Yeah. And I don't usually keep very many. Some people have a lot of rabbits. I have 3 right now, and when they are gone, I probably won't continue because it's extra work, and I've been using different wool a lot lately. So I've got so much of this piled up, I need a whole lifetime really to spin it on.
And as you said, Angora is so warm.
It's, yes, right. I found out, like, maybe I don't want to have, you know, a hat all made of Angora. This one, here's one I made, has a little bit of Angora. You can see it, the fluffy part. And it has some that was a roving that I got of kind of, I think it was a South Down sheep, and this is stuff from that South Down sheep. And this is a mixture of wool from I don't know what that I put into this little bag to make a little bag. I don't know what you use the bag for. But
Are those the bags that stretch a lot too?
Yep, this one is not. This one is not. But I have made them that are like netting almost. So you put your anything you put into it, it just gets bigger and bigger. When I've taken them to the shopping center, the people will put 2 things in, and I'll say, just keep putting things in it. And it'll just stretch and stretch. And I stay there going, wow. You know, cans upon cans. Anyway, fun. Okay, so here we are upstairs in the balcony, and you can see the shape of the hall. It's beautiful. This is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And I guess this used to be used for the chorus, but right now it's got such a short fence around it, a wall, that we couldn't possibly use that. Today would be like a no-no, because you don't want to fall off there, you know?
So there's a lot of things we're just looking through, but this is an old enough top hat that it was felted with beaver. This is actually why beaver had become almost endangered in some parts, was because they used their fur to felt with for top hats, and also they used them for perfume. And anyway, this is an amazing thing to find, I think.
But you couldn't knit with beaver fur.
No, it'd be slippery and
It's
it wouldn't work.
Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the river is high. Then how does it go? It's good? That's good.
Something, and I'm very easy.
Yeah. I don't remember all the words.
Summertime.
And my mother's good looking.
Oh yeah, right.
Hush,
Little baby, don't you cry. I don't know. Summertime.
Why don't you just give me some scat?
Scat. I'm not a...
Beepity boop boop ba ba da ba da.
Oh my God.
Zippity ba 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 da ba.
I don't know how to scat.
Do it now. Ready?
Okay, yep.
We're sending you down on the elevator. Yay! Our new elevator as of 2 or 3 years ago. I forgot now. But this way we can, when people are handicapped or they're bringing big loads of things in, they can use this.
It
Here
even
she
has,
comes.
an emergency phone in it and everything. It's kind of incredible for a small place.
Now, what you're going to do when you get in is press 1 and hold it.
Okay.
So you're going to go in?
Oh, you're okay. I'll get
Give me
this.
it down. Okay.
Okay, so it closes by itself.
Oh, it does.
Wow. There it goes.
There it goes. All right.
Goodbye, Serena.
Bye. See you guys on the first floor.
Okay.
I'm curious what this looks like on the first floor. I'll meet you down there.
Okay, cool.
So we're taking the stairs the old-fashioned way. Beautiful. Beautiful light.
I beat you down.
It's, it's a short, slow ride.
Ooh, so where are we going now?
We're going to go see the dining hall.
Nice. Do you want to show us the kitchen space, or?
Okay, are we filming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to take you in to see the kitchen. Here's all of the tables. They're not set up as you can rearrange them, and right now they're kind of set up so we could do 6 feet apart kind of things.
So we're here in the Canaan Farmers Hall kitchen. We just thought we'd show off. It's a really lovely kitchen that has 2 stoves, a hood, 2 refrigerators, and it's fully stocked. So people who are renting this place can actually use all of these things. Is there anything you want to say
Well,
about it?
it also, like the old halls, it has some of the same storage areas. Like, we'll show you in a minute, we'll show you those opening cupboards that you see in all the Grange halls. But anyway, so we have everything. Everything you could possibly want is here to prepare things. And in the past, we've had lots of different dinners. And I think you might have worked in this kitchen one time, right?
Yeah.
And we all would pass things out through the window opening. And
I wonder if there's
what else to say?
I was like, is there a name for that thing? I was like,
Wait,
she's looking for a name, but I don't know. Does this have a name?
This is the window.
The window.
This is
The pass-through? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a pass-through.
Right, okay. I was in my head going, is there a name? I don't know.
The whole thing that you put things through.
The hole.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Put the food through a hole.
I'm just impressed with the 3-bin farmer's sink with the
Right?
giant
This is-
spray
I would
nozzle.
love a sink like that.
I would love a
great.
sink like that too.
It's so
Yeah.
great.
I love cooking in kitchens like this that are set up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's counter space, there's store, it's all so well.
Right.
I feel like you guys do such
Nothing's gonna be scratched or broken. It's like
No.
heavy duty stuff.
It's a great kitchen.
I would like sometime to do some canning here. That's going to be fun. I don't know how to work it out now in this period of time, but it would be great to do canning.
Yeah. And
Thank
I've
you.
cooked in here too, and it's just such a nice kitchen to cook in.
It's also spotless.
Yeah,
Like it's
Right.
really, really clean.
Right.
yeah. Well, we can just show off these little cupboards that are so cool.
Yeah,
right?
the cupboard storage.
It's like a lot of the
They're-
Granges
in
have.
every Grange that I've been in, they're like this. They have these little doors, and you put all your stuff in it. This is the hall. The hall came with this stuff, most of it. You can open them from the other side. Same thing, same doors on the other side. And to me, it's just such a neat way to put something together that you can use. That's useful.
Yeah, so
the same latch, everything is how it was.
like so I volunteered here, so when you're serving, what's so cool is you can be on that side and grab the dishes you need
That's right.
and serve from that side. So
from the other door.
here, I'll go to another door. Then.
Open the door, we'll look through.
I think I can open this. Ooh. No, there we go. They're just sticky because it's summer. Let's see if I can. Oh, there's one. This one opens. The first one, Mom. Okay.
Here we are. You can pull them from that side, Serena.
Okay.
I love it. Okay, so one of our treasures here was donated by Bill Townsend, who's one of the people who helped in the beginning to form the Canaan Farmers Hall, a lawyer. And he had this in his office, and it was donated to the hall. And then another member made the case that it goes in. Beautiful case. One of the things, this map itself is from 1860. and it's Somerset County. So all of Somerset County, Canaan is way down here in the bottom. Where is Canaan gone to? Detroit, Harmony, Pittsfield, Canaan. Canaan's right there, so it's right at the bottom. And the thing I discovered was you can take a picture while you're here, or at any old map, take a picture of your area and then blow it up. And you can see what it was like, because these little tiny things showed all the houses and the names of the people, sometimes not. But you can see where all the houses were. So cool.
It's the original Google Maps.
Yeah. And I love this. Will you show people that there's a magnifying glass? So
because we can't see, we installed this special magnifying glass. So if you don't have a telephone that's digital, what do we call these?
Cell phones.
Boy, I am sounding older all the time. Anyway, if you don't have a cell phone, you could use this handy dandy thing.
So 1974, a long time. We used to own the property across the street that we restored. And Heather had a little gallery there for a while, you know. But
that's right.
Canaan's a rough place. You drive around and see all the Trump signs, you know. I mean, it's a rough place.
Yeah.
So Isaiah had brought our business to the at-large community online. And up until this week, we've been really doing well. This week has become January.
Yeah.
I coined that phrase a while ago, you know, January. So all of our windows are antique, and we are delighted to say that we work with the same window restorer, the same window framer, and the same furniture restorer for 40 years.
Wow.
So we like that. You know, we bring the business to we've brought a lot of investment to the community down through the years.
Yeah.
So the bevel glass, this amazing stuff here, amazing, all hand done.
Oh, it's so pretty.
And for the most part, it's set in zinc. You can put, if you're recording, you can use what you want.
You sure? Okay.
Have you been recording right along?
Oh yes.
I haven't made any mistakes.
You're wonderful.
No,
this
you're
is
great.
This is what people.
And this is so nice of you, by the way, for doing this at the last minute. But we were like, oh, we're here in town,
Are
and
you
it'd be really
kidding?
cool
You know,
to feature this place.
Listen, I could be 1,000,000 miles away from Waterville. You know what I mean? It's just amazing. You know, I'm 20 miles away, but you know, Downey's Magazine did a feature story on us in February of 1997, and we'll be forever grateful for that. But anyway, all the windows are antique. It's not unusual for us to have to reframe them because wooden window frames rotted. You know, so there. This is a favorite of mine right here.
Yeah.
But I want you to be back tomorrow morning on a sunny morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this is amazing. The colors. I call this stuff art glass. I don't call it stained glass. Well, everybody calls it stained glass. I don't. I think it's art glass. I'll show you a piece of stained glass in a moment. Okay. So, there we are.
One of my favorite memories, Alan, is being in here when the sun just comes through here.
Yeah.
It's just like the whole room is lit up.
So anytime you are going by in the afternoon, please share it. You can own it. I like to say that. You know, you can own it all. Lately, our interests have gone to decorative art as well.
Yeah.
You know, sculpture.
I've been following Isaiah's Instagram, so seeing some of these beautiful artworks, like sculpture, is so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
There's a window somewhere in here that we just got that was made by the Belcher Studios.
Oh.
Mercury mosaic. I don't know. Stuff moves around with Isaiah, you know that?
Yeah.
He is doing a great job setting everything up.
Yeah, it's beautiful in here.
We built the bay windows, you know, to show windows.
Yeah.
You know, years ago there was a couple of sets of scoreboards. We wanted better display areas, so we built the bay windows. What do you like? Oh, look.
That's cool.
She's stained.
Yeah, okay.
That's stained glass, you know. I only have 2 examples of it in the whole store. So, Vaseline glass jewels, I love those.
Wow.
Everything I have is guaranteed to have some cracks, because I'm an antique dealer, you know. This is a window that's the only example I have right now is zipper cut or notching in the window. It's a little dirty, I apologize for that. But I want you to come over here and see this one.
I don't think it's possible to take a bad photo in here. It's gorgeous.
It is really cool.
It is beautiful.
Well, you are welcome to come anytime you want. You know, I mean, I have some people who walk in and go, what would I do with this stuff? You know, I tend not to talk to them.
Yeah. Well,
I know. I mean, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it's like our life's work.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful bevel window with faceted jewels. Well, everything in here is pretty cool.
It really is.
We just got this one. Isaiah went down to North Carolina to meet a friend from Atlanta who gave us 12 windows. We bought 12 windows. And then he stopped in the Harrisburg area and got some great stuff. And then he stopped to see an old elderly friend in New Jersey and got some more great stuff. I love this one. I love them all. You know?
Oh, that's cool.
This one's arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Has some great art glass in it.
I'm also
1915
extremely
or so.
taken by the wood. The wood pillars and some of the railings I think that I saw back there that harken to kind of Adirondack living. Beautiful.
Yeah. There's a lot to look at in here.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, there's the Belcher mosaic right back there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Belcher Company in the late 1880s.
Yeah.
You know what's remarkable is that if you were to go to the Skowhegan Public Library, you will see a bunch of Belcher windows, and I don't know if people know they're Belcher, but they are incredible, priceless stained glass art, art glass art. Forgive me.
This is Virgin Mary.
She's painted.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
She's painted. Now I want you to look at the back of her, though.
Yeah.
And you can see through the front. You see that's folded glass. Tiffany did that. Not that this is a Tiffany window. No.
Yeah.
But it's got what we call drapery glass in it.
Wow.
Right here. Serena, take a look.
Yeah.
What was your name?
Oh, my name's Nate.
Nathan.
Yes, Nathan.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh,
Like,
it's
you can
literally
actually
folded.
See, like the folding.
I'm gonna have to close in on this one.
Whoa. I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Well, it's not very common.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to have this window. Now, I don't particularly buy religious windows. I don't particularly not buy them. But what I like to buy is art.
Yeah.
And this had all. I mean, this had it as far as I'm concerned. I just love the window, so I bought it. I don't know who's going to take it away. It's 12 feet tall.
Somebody with high.